Hi everyone, my name is Taylor Austin, and this is my video for Module 2 for issues in US public schools, and this is for Education 590. So American schools are facing a multitude of challenges in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. These challenges, there are way more than three, but I chose to focus on three based on the videos and the readings that was in this module. So these challenges include a rise in school violence, politics, which more specifically is an increased push for parental control in education, and then staff shortages. So I'm going to start talking about school violence. So the issue of school violence has become more relevant in recent years. Really after the pandemic, there was a high increase in violence in schools. There's been a major increase, and it's mostly due to the students' lack of ability to navigate in the social context of schools. With the isolation and the trauma that students experienced during the pandemic, they were unable to form and develop the necessary social skills needed to behave appropriately in a multitude of contexts, but especially in a school setting. Like, students aren't equipped with that skill. The loss of interpersonal skills by students, it really has led to the violence. It's led to more fighting in the hallways, a dependency on phones, and a rise in gun violence. The gun violence has been an issue in the United States in public schools for a while, but there was an increase. According to the article, Public Education is Facing a Crisis of Epic Proportions by Laura Meckler, there were 42 acts of gun violence on K through 12 campuses in 2021 alone. In the video, the state we're in, English teacher Walter Freeman, he was my favorite part of that video. I feel like he had a lot of important insight that he shared with everyone. And he believes that the situation is improving due to increased socialization now that students are back in school, but that the issue itself cannot be solved completely because there are too many contributing factors that haven't been addressed yet. So experts like Freeman understand that the issue of school violence does not have a single cause, so there can't be a single solution. There's no easy fix to this issue. Some of the suggested solutions include increased funding, hiring more support staff, which there's a staff shortage right now, but hiring more support staff, improving the public's perception of teaching, what the public thinks the teaching profession is, reaching out directly to families, and monitoring free time for students, which is passing periods in the hallway, lunch, and those types of time. Teachers are actively attempting to reduce the violence by teaching students basic social skills. So it's really important for teachers to teach their students explicitly how they're supposed to act, the appropriate behaviors. And these behaviors include how to enter a classroom, how to behave in a cafeteria setting, how to go from class to class, like what's the expected behavior. Moving on to politics, the image is from a protest in response to Florida's Don't Say Gay bill. In today's divided political climate, education has become a very hot topic, more specifically parental control. So it's the parents' influence and how they can control education. Many people believe that Republicans are capitalizing on parent frustrations over the pandemic policies, and that's why there's this push for parental control in the classroom. The pandemic made some parents feel very upset about the schools being closed, mask mandates, vaccine mandates. There was a lot of frustration on both parts, but there was a lot of Republican parents who were particularly upset, and it is the Republican parents pushing for this parental control. Many people believe that Republicans are capitalizing on the parent frustrations, and the Republicans are using it as a way to push their agenda, which is to censor teachers. The article, Why Students Are Taking Center Stage in the Culture Wars by Ronald Brownstein, discusses how Republicans are looking to censor how public school teachers talk about race, gender, sexual orientation, and other sensitive topics. These aren't obviously limited to pandemic frustrations. These are topics that way beyond the scope of the pandemic, but they're using the frustrations from the pandemic to push this belief. And this push is comparative to the anti-communist McCarthy era, where politicians are attempting to set legislative limits on classroom instruction. And this push comes from mostly white parents in a position of privilege. And as of right now, 8 states are considering legislation that limits how teachers in schools talk about sexual orientation and gender identity, which to me is, it's just, it's baffling that there's gonna, like, there's this possibility that there's legislation censoring this vulnerable community where there's high suicide rates among youth LGBTQ students, and making school not a safe place for them is not the way it should go. I don't see this helping students' mental health. The last issue I wanted to talk about was staff shortages. Teachers are facing an unprecedented amount of stress, largely due to student behavior. It's not limited to student behavior, but the school violence is a huge reason why teachers are very stressed out right now. These negative feelings, the declining mental health, are leading to staff shortages. Teacher retention is low. Teachers are quitting at an alarming rate. Teachers' mental health is in decline due to, and this is from the infographic, it's increasing demands, lack of resources, and limited resources. There's the staff shortage, really, like, teachers don't get the help that they need. Like, their mental health is declining. The staff crisis shortage, it's not limited to just teachers. A lot of research and articles do talk about teachers in particular, but it's also a shortage of school counselors, psychologists, social workers, and special education employees. The schools don't have adequate staff to address the educational needs and issues of their students. If there's not enough staff, it's really difficult to address the issues that are in the US public schools. And those were my thoughts on the module. I really enjoyed the videos. I felt like a lot of the times videos are included and they're not always, like, for me, the part I enjoy the most during modules, but I really did enjoy the videos. I thought they were a great addition. So thank you for listening to my video.